Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Rick Wallen. This is Breezer Windows. We're at our installation facility today. We got a brand new truck and we really want to dive in about some of the products that we offer from Breezer Windows. We're going to be integrating this truck with two systems. One, our Breezer Window patented fully removable rear window system that allows for 100% versatility and comfort control from the back of your truck into the rear of your truck year round. That could be if you have a camper shell, or even if you don't have a camper shell and you have an extended load, rather than dropping your tailgate, you can drop your Breezer window. So on the inside of this truck, it's currently equipped with 100% factory solid glass. It doesn't even have a slider in it. As you've seen in many trucks, the newer vehicles come with sliders, but they're very small, only like a 1x1. So the amount of ventilation that you can get through that is minimal at best, and you don't have the versatility of being able to have a 100% pass through in the back of your truck if you're hauling extended load like a surfboard or a 2x4 or anything like that. Instead of having to drop that tailgate and having a long board sticking out the back, you can pop your Breezer window and be able to have that slide straight through. So I'm going to pop this door and show you the factory hardtop from Century that has a solid back glass as well, really eliminating any possibility for you to have any type of versatility or comfort and climate control into the back living space if you guys are overlanding or camping with your camper shells, or if you have pets that are in the back of the camper shell and you want to keep them in a climate controlled environment, making sure they don't get overheated while they're in the back of your truck. On the inside, you can see that this is a solid piece of rear glass, and there's no way for this glass to be able to be removed from the factory. So you can't get any of the climate control that's in your cabin space into the rear area of the camper shell, or if you have an overland living space that's integrated onto the back of this. As we come around, I'm gonna have Chris pull in and do a interior shot of this area here. So this area that's right here is a big problematic area if you have a camper shell. Most camper shells, they do offer a boot seal system, but the boot seal system is just a contact boot. And that contact boot tends to ride on the upper edge of the cab and does two things. It doesn't have a full seal because of most of the drain channels that come down on the back of the cabs are actually indented. So when that seal comes to contact with the back of the cab, it doesn't allow for full water intrusion, spaces there. So what happens is the water comes in, it gets to those little areas, and you still get leaks that come into that area, inherently making it to where this system can never be fully sealed. With the Breezer Windows patented boot hook seal, it's a two-part system that actually integrates on the back of the cab and the camper shell. And when the two come together, they meet and they have an overlapping seal that allows for no water intrusion to ever come into the cab system. So with the Breezer window and the boot hook seal, you can have the window out in the back of the cab, have the seal in place, and allow for 100% HVAC and climate control into the rear camper shell area without ever having any water or outside conditions entering into your living space. So that is a very, very, very sought after portion of our system, which is the seal, because it doesn't allow for any water intrusion in this area. Having the window integrated with the seal maximizes your versatility and year-round climate control into the back of your space for living conditions, whether you're overlanding or camping, or like I said, if you have pets or anything that you need to keep climate controlled in the rear of your vehicle. So we're gonna come around real quick and show you what's on the inside of the Century top and just explain a little bit about how that's gonna work with our Breezer boot seal. We're gonna end up removing the back glass. And when we remove the back glass, we're gonna install 1/2 of the Breezer boot seal. The camper shell itself will have no glass whatsoever, but it'll have our seal installed. And then the cab, when we install the Breezer window, will then have the full pass-through availability with the removable window, as well as the second portion of the Breezer boot hook seal, allowing for no water intrusion between the cab and the camper. All right, you guys, so the windows are 100% factory install as far as how they glue in, or if they use a rubber seal, they'll be roped in. But there is some small nuances between your makes and models on the plastic trim that is actually on the rear of the seat panel and on the rear B panels. So there's some slight trimming that needs to be done here on the upper corners on the Chevy truck, and on the back edge of this lower panel, we're gonna have to trim off a portion of the rear here for the window to sit completely in place. So we're gonna go ahead and get this cut out. As you can see, I've already got my trimming marks in place. We pre-fit the window glass, saw our slight little bit of adjustment that we have to make. I'm gonna get this cut out, and then we're gonna get the glass back in. All right, so we got the breezer window installed in the back of this truck. Now we're getting ready to unbox the patented breezer boot hook seal. So it's a two-part system. In our box, we're gonna include the hook seal, which is actually gonna go on the back of the cab. And then we're gonna include the boot seal, and the boot seal is what's gonna install on the actual camper shell. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the boot seal first. Both of these are sold as a universal length, so they are gonna be cut to fit. And so when I get this installed, I'll show you how you trim it and how you finalize the install of the actual boot seal. And then we'll go ahead and install the hook seal on the cab. So let's start with the boot seal. We'll get that installed on the camper shell right now. All right, so for the boot seal, it's a super simple installation. You can see that we've already removed the glass out of the back of the camper shell. How it operates is that it has a U-shaped little tiny metal trim track inside of here, and that trim track allows it to pinch over the top of this well and install into the actual window area. So what you're going to do is you're going to go about 50% of your opening, and you're going to start by just simply pushing down on the seal. And as you push down on that seal, you're going to use your rubber mallet, get it kind of on the track, and then from there you're going to tap along the rubber seal, getting a good impression all the way along the inside of the glass edge. The only important part to pay attention to is when you get into these corners, make sure you push the seal firmly into the corners to allow it to fully integrate into the edge of the opening. So I'm going to go ahead and install the seal around here now, get it trimmed to fit. I'll show you guys what it looks like fully installed. All right, so the next steps in order to prep yourself for the boot hook seal installation and sliding the camper shell forward is we want to go ahead and make sure that we clean down this plate in order for to have good adhesion with the actual boot seal. So you're going to go ahead and use isopropyl alcohol. It'll dry this out very well, so then you don't have any residue causing bad adhesion from the seal on this ABS plastic. So go ahead and take yourself some alcohol, white paper towel, and come through and just make sure that you clean the ABS plastic down very well, removing any oils that are happen to be in here from anything in transportation or products on your hands or anything like that during installation. All right, now that we've got that cleaned down with alcohol, what we're going to do is we're going to install the camper shell. We're going to slide it all the way forward into its fixed position, and we're going to mount the camper shell. And then once we get the camper shell bolted in place and mounted, that's going to allow us to have the location for where the hook seal is going to go on the back of the window. So we're going to go ahead and slide this thing forward now, show you the compression of the boot seal, and then show you how to index and locate the hook seal on the back of the cab. All right, so now as you can see, we've slid the camper shell forward, and you can see that the boot seal now rests right against the cab. And this would almost be similar to what a normal boot seal would be. And you can see that without a secondary seal, you really just have a compression fit that's here, and any water intrusion can still seep past the edge of that seal. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna integrate our hook seal that's gonna go over the top of that and create a overlapping full water intrusion elimination of the upper seal system, allowing it to never have water come into your cab again. So we're gonna go ahead and locate the hook seal right now and show you what it looks like with both components installed. So once you've installed the boot and you've slid your camper shell all the way forward and you're getting ready to put it in its fixed position, the biggest thing that you have to make sure is that the seal itself is actually rolled up and rolled down. If this upper seal is rolled into the down position, your seal will leak because you will not have a good contact with the boot hook. So make sure that when this seal is slid all the way forward, all of the edges are rolled out, making sure that you have a positive rolled edge and contact on the back of the cab. Once you've confirmed that, you can go ahead and bolt your camper shell down into its final location, and we can go ahead and get the boot hook installed. All right, you guys, it's been a beautiful day out here at the Breezer installation facility. We got the Breezer window installed in the back of this truck, and we've installed a compression seal on the back of the camper shell, as well as our patented boot hook seal. So now that we've done that, I'm going to show you the first step of versatility that you have in these trucks, which is popping the rear window out and showing you the 100% pass through from the truck into the back of the camper shell. So now we'll go ahead and just pop this Breezer window out by simply popping these 4 clips. Once that happens, you go ahead and just pull out your window. Now, no more solid glass. You have 100% pass through between your camper shell and your cab, and with the boot seal installed, you're no longer going to get water intrusion in there. So what we'll do is we'll bring a hose out here in just a little bit, and I'm actually going to pound this thing with water, and I'm going to show you guys that no water ever enters into this area now with our patented boot seal. So this is step 1. If you happen to have a long load and you need to be able to have it pass through into this area, or if you have animals in the back or anything that you need to have climate control back here for if you're camping or overlanding, this is the first step, what gets you the complete pass-through zone. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to fire this truck up, and I'm actually going to turn the AC on, and I'm going to take a thermal imager, and I'm going to show you guys what the interior cabin space is currently without AC on, and then I'm going to show you in about 20 minutes how much those center vent temperatures drop in this rear area here, to show you that if you're out in a hot day and you got sun pounding on the back of your camper shell, how much you can really control the climate in this particular area. And we even have another product that goes from the center vents or from your lower foot vent, if you have that application on your truck, to allow for direct HVAC to be plumbed into this rear area with a hose kit. So we'll show you both of those options and how that functions, and the difference between standard pressurized cabin air zone going into the camper shell area with free air passive zone in this area versus direct HVAC implementation into the back of the camper shell area. So we'll show you both options and show you the difference in comfort and control that you can get with the versatility of Breezer window products. And we talked about some of those extended loads, and it just so happens, if you like to go out and go surfing, you can take your surfboard and slide it right through the inside of this thing and make sure that you have your surfboard protected and not being damaged from being strapped down at multiple strapping points. So, great purpose, great use. If you're out having a fun time on the waves, now you can make sure that your vehicle is not damaging your surfboard. And this is an excellent use for this particular product. All right, so current temperature in the vehicle right now is about 77 degrees, 80 degrees ambient temperature. We'll flip around. Back of the cabin area back here is about 85 degrees, 80 degrees approximately. And currently we have the AC off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and turn the AC on. We're gonna let this run for about 25-30 minutes. And we're gonna come back and we're gonna check the interior cabin temperatures as well as the rear camper temperatures to show you the differentiation between what it'd be like with no ventilation in the back and now having the availability for static ventilation to go into the rear of the vehicle. Once we complete that test, we'll go ahead and set up the center vent direct HVAC kit. Then we'll show you the center vent tips that are actually entering the back of the camper shell area as soon as we're done with that. So let's get this AC rolling on full blast. AC on. And we're gonna check our center vent temperatures. As these begin to drop, getting down to the 65, 66, 64. So we'll go ahead and let these drop for a little while and let this migrate into the back of the camper shell area, and then do some temperature tests throughout. Show you guys the differentiation between having no cooling in the back and now having full central cooling into the back of the camper shell, as if this is one contiguous space. All right, so we're inside now. It's been about 20 minutes of runtime, and you can see that we've got, way down at the very footwell, 60 degrees, 59 degrees. Center vent temp is, 60, or actually 56, 55, 54 degrees coming directly out of the center temp. And currently we have it on max AC with it set to face and floor settings. General ambient temp within the cab is approximately 67, 66 degrees, and that's just relative temperature in the cab. We come to the back of the vehicle, and in the rear foot area, we're looking at about 70 degrees, approximately general ambient air temperature. And then we come back here, and in the rear area, we're looking at approximately 70, 71 degrees. So actually the whole rear area in this is relative to your back seat zone temperature. And so you're talking with no AC running whatsoever, we're running right around 78 to 82 degrees inside of the cabin. And now that we've been letting it run for about 20 minutes, we have front cabin area of about 60 to 61 degrees, rear midsection of your cabin at approximately 68 to 71 degrees, and then the rear camper shell area with the passive ventilation just blowing through from that ambient air coming through the system is right around 69 to 71 degrees. And so overall, you're getting a temperature drop of about 10 degrees in your rear camper shell area, and this is only after about 20 minutes while the vehicle is sitting in full sun. So if we were to measure the center, the temperature of the windows, you're talking 110 degrees is, on the glass of the window, whereas the ambient temperature in this zone is only 70 degrees. So you're getting an effective drop rate of, 30 degrees. If you were sitting here in the sun with it just baking and having no ventilation whatsoever, you could get an easily excess. If you have animals in the back or any of your camping gear in the back, you might be 100, 110 degrees with no ventilation happening in the back of this shell system. So just with the passive air, you're looking at anywhere between, I would say, 15 and 30 degree temperature drops. And then if you're in the winter and you have this set to heat, you could think about how well that would work for a year-round climate control in the camper space. So now what we're going to do is we will hook up the rear vent systems to the direct AC application, and then we're going to take a differentiation of the camper shell area that has direct HVAC versus passive HVAC, and that will probably lower these center vent temps, or lower the temperatures in this cabin area another 3 to 5 degrees. And so we're going to show that differentiation when you add the additional vent kit to the window. So we'll go ahead and install those now, and then we'll show you guys how that operates plumbing direct HVAC into your camper shell area. All right, so we offer this vent adapter kit in multiple models, and it can be attached to your center vent that comes out of the front vents on the vehicle, or if your vehicle is equipped with lower foot vents for the rear seats, it can be attached to that as well. Once they're attached, the kit comes up and then basically locks in to the portion just above the back side of the window. This particular one I don't have the clip on right now, but there's a clip kit that retains this. And once that's retained, you're now going to take central HVAC and be able to plumb it directly into the rear camper shell area. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this system now. And once I attach that system, it's actually a 2-hose system, and we're going to be able to run both right and left lower vents into the rear cabin area and allow for direct climate control. So if you're parked, or if you have animals that are in the back and you want to be able to facilitate keeping them cool directly, this is how you're going to be able to have that functionality. So I'm going to go ahead and install this, We'll get the vehicle closed back up for a little bit, and then we're going to do a temperature test with this directly feeding the camper shell area versus the passive AC system. So now that we've got the vent hose installed, you can see that it goes from the lower register of the footwell for the rear seat ventilation. And once you go from there, you simply route it up over the seat and then clip it into the back side of the breezer window. And now we have direct HVAC that's going to be entering into the camper shell area. So we're going to go ahead and close the truck up and then show you the vents, show you the rear temperature in the camper shell in about 15 minutes to show you how much temperature drop you get with direct HVAC. So if you have a third brake light, you're going to want to take some silicone seal and seal this area just around the third brake light, because they have a seam, and that seam will allow water to pass past the hook seal. So you just add a little bit of silicone in those areas, and then take yourself a wet rag after you push that silicone down in there and get yourself a good solid seal. Wet rag will allow you just to wipe it away and leave just the seal inside of the channel, making a nice clean reveal, and you don't have a bunch of silicone on the cab of your truck. All right, so now we're going to take a water hose and we're going to simulate a rainstorm. So as you can see, you got all the water outside, but none of the water inside. So breezer windows, everything from ventilation, comfort, and versatility to be able to add to your truck from 1957 to current day. If you want to keep out all the weather and all the water between your cab and your camper, make sure you get that breezer boot hook seal. And if you want to have a full pass-through that allows for ventilation and climate control year-round in your pickup truck, breezer windows.